Yo, 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 what is going on, boys? It's your boy Dan, and today we are doing our full October 2024 trade recap, bro. So it's going to be every single trade that we took this month. It is my second month ever demo trading. We're going to go over my full win rate, every single loss, every single win. This video is for myself, but it's also for you guys. It should be a good learning experience. Hopefully, I could go back, understand some of the mistakes I made, and understand why I took some good trades this month, and go over fully transparent with everything. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe. I don't really say that much, but this video, I'm pretty excited about it. So the big question is, in my second month of demo trading, was I technically profitable? Let's take a look. There's only one way to find out. So this is in September. I was paper trading before this. I just never journaled it. I was honestly doing a little bit worse. Honestly, the win rate was probably somewhere between 40%. Not profitable. It was not good. A lot of trades were not even a 1-on-1 RR. Every single trade in October was at least a minimum of a 1-to-1 RR. So we're going to go in, go trading, and you boys see that number on October. We were profitable. Our win loss, this is the full win loss rate. I took 13 wins, I took 7 losses, and I broke even 2 times, with my win rate being at 63.64%. Obviously, I mean, that's a step forwards, but
I repeat all the real niggas worldwide.
salute!
Salute.
Alright, before this gets copyrighted, I can't play that anymore. But obviously, we still have a lot of work to do. I'm just joking. We got a really long way to go. 63% is not much, or even I'm on demo, bro. So literally the second I hop on live trading, bro, my hair is not greasy, bro. It's wet too, so I better not see any comments. Anyways, let's just start off. First day of October, exactly what happened. So a lot of this month I was trading NQ or ES. This day I apparently traded IWM and QQQ. So I marked out my liquidity points. Anyways, we want to go over the trades. I don't think these trades were very... I wasn't even like marking them as forecast. But let's see what I took here. So I took this trade off of fair value gap, and I was just trying to catch that first swing. See how small my RR was, bro? I was literally catching trades from like here to here, and then setting my stop loss down here. It was 101. This was the start of the month. Made a long progress. Realistically, I would have targeted some area like here now. We weren't even waiting for break structures. So I don't really want to stay away. Even though we took a win, this is not a great win, bro. This is honestly like a C- trade. This IWM loss. IWM formed a bearish fair value gap. Okay, correct. Okay, so I lost this trade because I just entered off price coming back into a 1 minute fair value gap, bro. So obviously that's something that you don't necessarily want to do. At this point in trading, I wasn't even like looking at like a daily bias. I was just kind of guessing at going at it. Like it wasn't great, bro. I'm gonna go back. We're gonna get on to the second day. There's definitely gonna be some better stuff here. So order block. So I marked out that last stick down. I'm going to wait for price to come back into this order block and then place my entry. I did not do that on IWM. Or I marked out. I ended up getting impatient. I marked out the whole thing. Price came back into it and came back up, which was this like final move down. But at the same time, if you click on this and pay attention, there is this like, I don't really consider that as like a bullish candle. Honestly, that's more like an indecisive candle. Regardless, liquidity was swept, price rallied, price came back up, formed this order block on the whole way down. Price ended up coming back into it, rallied, missed the entry. Not sure what Dan was doing. Should have entered off that. Had multiple confluences here. Liquidity was swept. Price came up. We even had a fair value gap right here to enter. Didn't end up doing that. We missed an entry. But we ended up placing another trade at 928. And what was the reason I placed this trade on 928? So it was an order block to the upside. Price ended up coming back in. 928 I entered. So it was right here I entered. Price ended up coming in. Ended up filling orders. So I was a guess, but we never really swept liquidity here. So I'm not sure why I even enter this trade. I enter my trade. On that first high near the order block, price now has officially went back into the order block. This trade was not a bad trade, and I could have exited already, but my take profit is set to those morning lows. Outcome. So I literally just took this trade. Look at how I was entering, bro. I was not waiting for it. I had no idea what equilibrium was. We had this high to the low formed. We could have waited for price to come back with this equilibrium. Had a way better optimized entry. So that was a lot of the mistakes I was making early in the month. That I honestly was one of my best improvements, was being able to optimize better entries. Um, um, Earlier in the month, I was over trading. That's one thing I do want to get it back away from. We're going to try to get through these a little bit quicker. Because these days, it's not really like the most confluential trades. I took another win. So this was yesterday's high getting swept. We had the high get swept. We had this order block formed. We had this fair value gap formed. I guess I waited for price to come out of the order block. Okay. See, we never waited for price to close out of it. This was what the hell is this? Bro, look at this risk reward ratio, bro. What the Alright, this is a terrible trade. Alright, regardless, bro. Dan was doing some crazy things earlier this month. On the 3rd of this month. Okay, so we had a liquidity sweep and then an order block. So I was just waiting for price to come back in, which price did come back in. I entered. At the same time, I could have used equilibrium to a benefit here. And then look at this risk-reward ratio. Not great, but ended up taking the win that day. Not proper RR at all. Still a 1-to-1 at a minimum, but we ended up catching that first swing, so I guess that's all that matters. Okay, we had news this day. We ended up taking a Tesla liquidity sweep. So we ended up sweeping yesterday's low. Price, I waited for price to come out of this order block. Price ended up coming back in, and then I just took it right below these lows. Realistically, I should have set my stop loss if I'm taking a trade like this and setting it right here. My stop loss should really be at this like 50% mark, and I honestly could have went way further to even sweep some of this resting liquidity here, which ended up playing out. So those are things that I could look back on this month and say that I learned, bro. This is why journaling is so important, bro, and I want to be able to show these trades. This is also Notion, the site, by the way. And then this was great. This was a forecasted long. I don't know why I never actually got the full outcome to play out, but I never took this trade because we never ended up sweeping this low. But I just forecasted that price was going to go up as this was like the final move. Price came back into it, and then I based an entry off that. Ended up playing out, but never entered. That's okay. On this Friday. Okay, that's the same day I was just on. On the 7th. These are all paper trading days, by the way. So the plan for me for when I start trading with real money right now, I'm shooting for the start of December. So the 1st of December, I'm hopefully gonna be trading with some real dough, and that's gonna be my psychology training. I'm hoping to do at least 3 months of psychology training before I end up even considering buying a funded account or anything like that. I'm sorry, I got my window open if you hear like stuff banging and shit, but it's whatever. So 8:15, QQQ shows signs of filling overnight gaps, so I don't know why there's no picture attached, but whatever. 8:45 in the morning, NVIDIA sweeps liquidity and confirms confluence of an order block and break a structure, and the trade one was placed. Now let's take a look. So we ended up placing this trade. We'll see if it ends up playing out. So I ended up placing this trade. This was the final move up for the ended up breaking structure, came out. Didn't really break structure, but ended up coming out of the order block. That's enough confluence. Price came back in. I entered. This is a terrible, terrible risk reward ratio. This is like a straight 1-to-1. Regardless, I should have honestly set my stop loss somewhere right above these highs based off what I'm entering. Honestly, my take profit should have been somewhere down here. Let's see how this ended up playing out. Look at this. Ended up playing out, ended up hitting. I actually ended up setting my stop or take my take profit right resting high. Very simple trade. I've learned so much in the past 2 weeks. I ended up learning a lot more in the next 2 weeks, and I'm probably going to end up learning a lot more when I'm making this video again a month from now, going over the full month of November. And I'm going to talk about some of the improvements and some things I'm going to change right now. A lot of these days, I wasn't really caring about how news was affected. Look at how this forecasted short ended up playing out. Liquidity was swept, price broke structure, and came out of the order block. So liquidity was swept, price ended up coming out of that initial move, price came back into it, and I set my stop loss right above the highs and take profit right in this imbalance right here. Look how that played out. That was perfect. Never ended up taking that trade, but I've marked out so many trades like that this month that I've just been putting on here. Okay, what was that? Go over our loss. So we have a loss right here. Where liquidity marked out, we had price. See, I wasn't doing. We had price ended up sweeping liquidity. We never had this move. This move forward wasn't. I mean, this really was this order block. This was this move up before the move down, not this. So I ended up creating a false order block. Never waited for the true structure to get broken, and it ended up actually coming up and playing these highs. Trade number 2 ended up playing these highs. This was that last and final move up. That's the initial order block. Price ended up coming out of it, came back in. I entered off my trade right there. Ended up bouncing around for a little bit. What the hell? I won this trade and it was a good trade. The value was bad, so it was just the price action was total. I took this trade at the break even. The second trade would have paid out more, but there was almost no value, and I was just taking a trade at break even at the end. Okay, so this trade, it ended up bouncing around. It was later. It was already later in the day. I guess it was a no news day. There was minimal value because I guess I was complaining about price action, but I ended up setting my break even. And then I just ended up just taking a profit early. I think this actually ended up fully playing out from what I remember there. See, the second trade would have played out if I was more patient. But there was no value. There's just no point to risk it. I just set it at break even. I've had some days like that. I actually think I even marked it out. See, I marked this day as a win. But realistically on here, if you come, it's a 0-1-1. So we didn't actually take a win there. But I don't know why I marked it as a win on the actual app. Doesn't matter. 10-9. We ended up taking a loss this day. Let's see exactly what happened. Okay, need to wait for some sort of liquidity. I want to take liquidity to the downside, trying to catch a move to the downside. Followed today's trading plan. I was trying to catch a move to the downside because we swept so many highs yesterday. The way I wanted to take the trade was based off yesterday's order block, and when price entered, so did I. It did not end up going my way. I should have waited for a break of structure for confirmation. Newsday should not even trade it today, being an FOMC. See, I traded on FOMC day, bro. Next month, we ain't doing that. See? We're learning. We're going back, and we're seeing that days with high news. For example, the next day, Friday, November 1st, we got NFP. NFP technically started today, and it's playing out through, but tomorrow is not really. Friday's a big day, so I'm still going to be looking for a move tomorrow, but realistically, we're most likely not going to end up taking anything. Going to 10-10. This was CPI. Oh my gosh. Took a trade on CPI. Price broke structure and then came into the order block. I'm taking this straight to the upside. See, I need to get better with my take profits, bro. What the I originally messed this trade up. I should have been targeting the imbalance before and not pre-market high until I could figure out how to set proper take profits or proper stop losses. I do not need to be trading for real money, even though today the RR was terrible at 0.5. This trade actually would have ended up playing out too, from what I remember. So I got a little bit impatient and actually ended up coming and hitting this high. This is one of the days where I started prioritizing my take profits and stop losses, and we started getting some better trades, some better moves. I ended up 10-10. Okay, that's the same day. 10-11, I was sick this day. I don't think I traded. Trading day canceled sick. Yep. I was sick. It was PPI anyways. So it was great that I avoided trading that day. And I think I actually ended up having a great move that day. I just never ended up trading. I was sick, throwing up, dude. I was going crazy, man. I think it was like I ate like raisin. I got poisoned by Raising Canes, bro. So 10-14-24. Um, I entered my trade. I entered off the trade price coming back into this order block from a liquidity sweep. So we swept liquidity. This was that final move forwards. Price ended up retracing back into it after breaking structure coming out of this final move up. I entered, ended up taking a move, ended up taking a win. At this point, I started realizing that, hey, every single time I'm entering, like right here off my stop loss should have been right above this imbalance right here. Right here, that's like a 1 in 3 trade. Price at my take profit overall, very good trade. I like that too. That's something I would take 2 days a day. 10-15, we ended up taking a loss. Let's take a look what happened here. This was a good trade. I did not do... Okay, shut up, Dan. You did do something wrong if you lost. See, this day I was talking about the markets. Let's take a look. What ended up happening? I mean, I can't really tell because I can't go in higher time frames, and these are all in a minute. I do upload a short every single day for every single trade, but I want to see. I'm probably going to go back in time and watch whatever I was complaining about on the 15th. But it seems like I entered off price coming into... Oh, I remember this day. I think price ended up rallying. This was the day that price came up, swept it. This wasn't that final move up. It ended up coming up, sweeping it, because we never closed above actual liquidity. This ended up being that final order block. Price ended up coming back in. And this is the day that it played out. This was straight to the downside. I remember this day. Even if we go to TradingView, let's just go to like the hourly. And let's just go to the 15th. Because I do want to see what ended up playing out this day on the 15th. Yep, this was the big move I ended up missing. Okay, relax. This is the 15th. So, yep, this trade ended up sweeping. I thought this was the liquidity sweep. It actually ended up being this. Look at this move down, bro. Yep, here. I'm not even Polish, bro. I don't even know why I'm saying that, but anyways, we ended up missing that day. It's okay. I was happy that I got my bias correct. At this point, I was running out my bias, so I was bearish on the day. We ended up taking a long somehow. Oh, that's because I marked out all points for today. We have a massive 1 hour fair value gap. Once price comes back into it, I'll be looking for a reaction. Let's see. What did I end up taking? Liquidity plus break of structure. Okay. So we ended up coming down. We swept this liquidity right here. And then after we swept that liquidity, we ended up making this like final move down right here. Price ended up coming out of it, coming back into it. I entered a little bit late. Ended up still catching the move. I took it all the way to this imbalance. That was actually a better trade. That was like a 1.5 to 1. I believe we are on the 17th now. Okay, liquidity was swept, break of structure was formed, and a fair value gap was created. Price came back. Okay, this was one of the best trades I took this month, and this was on SPY. We swept liquidity. We had a 5-minute fair value gap get created. Price ended up retracing back into that 5-minute fair value gap, filling this 5-minute order block as well, doing at the same time, and being perfectly aligned with equilibrium. This was honestly the best trade I took all month. I should have entered right here. Ended up entering a little bit later. Kind of screwed up the RR, but at least I could understand that mistake, and I'm going to stop making that going forward. But this was a pretty generally good trade. Ended up playing out. It was a win. I don't know why I didn't set like the final profit thing, but whatever. 10-18, paper trading Friday. We took a draw this day, but this was one of the days. Took this trade because of an internal sweep. So we swept all of this internal liquidity. Came back up. We used equilibrium here from this to this. Price ended up coming into this fair value gap. Ended up actually completely disrespecting it. Ended up going inverse. I really should have waited for price to come back in right here, but I waited a little bit for price to just to come out, kind of signify that we're going to get that inverse fair value gap, and I entered based off that. Low key, got edge maxed a little bit right here. And look at all my trades like in drawdown, bro. I could be setting way better risk reward ratios, man. I could be setting way better risk reward ratios and have a similar win rate. So that's like one thing that I've gotten better at as the month goes on. And now towards the end of this month, if you guys also trade, I'm assuming if you're watching this, you probably trade. You guys obviously know what's going on in the United States. We got the presidential elections coming up. Not necessarily trying to blame it all for price action. I made some bad trades. I missed some entries. It's not necessarily all whoever gets elected for president is fault. I am endorsing the president right now. That's my endorsement, but you know, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I don't really care who you vote for, but anyways, bias was tough to determine this day. I don't even know. I shouldn't have even been trading. Whenever the bias is tough to determine, I should not be trading. Ended up taking a loss. This actually ended up playing out too. I do remember this day. So I never waited for a break of structure. Trade ended up failing. Break of structure, I like it. Liquidity sweep plus break of structure is nice, but I like it when it plays into an order block. So what ended up happening, I drew out my order block for this first liquidity sweep, right? Can you see if price ever came out of that order block, bro? It never did. So why did I enter? Don't know. And then this was the trade of order blocks with this final move up liquidity. Price came out of it. Price came out of it. Price came back into it. Should have entered right here. Ended up playing out. Never took this trade. This was just a forecast. Oh my God, stop. So I went 0-1 on the day. On this day, on the 22nd, we went 1-0. I'm kind of going over like really quickly, but I hope you guys are kind of understanding how your boy Dan kind of trades every single day, just like watching me. I kind of try to fart and make it loud for the video, but I don't think you guys are going to hear it. It's just going to smell bad, so whoops. 10:22. We ended up taking a win this day, so we had this hourly fair value gap plus a gap, expecting price to sweep yesterday's low and then come up and fill the gap. All right, perfect. We never swept yesterday's low. The entry was wiped pretty early. We had news react and fill the gap. That switched my bias to the downside. We had confluences such as the gap getting filled, price reacting, creating a fair value gap, and equilibrium, perfectly overmapping the fair value gap. So we had this price come up in this gap, form this high, form this low. We had this fair value gap. This fair value gap actually got completely like disrespected. But anyways, price came up at that equilibrium mark, that 50%, kind of touched in, almost disrespected it. Ended up entering the trade off this inverse. Ended up kind of filling orders, staying in this order block. We never swept any liquidity, so this wasn't the greatest trade. Ended up playing out a really long time, but ended up taking that win. And I actually moved my break even about an hour in, so this could have easily been a break even day. But I ended up taking a win, so I'm thankful for that. Go on the 23rd. We had this long forecast, not a real trade. Put this together because of a sweep order block. Price came out and then never broke structure either. I was waiting to trade this day because we had news. So I wasn't taking a trade until 9:30. Sometimes I don't really listen. 9 stopped out. So news 1 stopped out our forecast. That's why we don't trade news. Forecast number 2. Not actually trading due to news. Ended up placing a trade 2 minutes later. It's one thing I need to get better with. Discipline. Waiting for news to actually happen. Ended up actually waiting out the last time that we traded with news. We ended up taking a win this day, though. This day, we ended up taking our take profit 1. We never ended up hitting this. Price ended up coming back down and hitting break even. So this was a win, but not a big win. Had like 4 confluence, a sweep, order block in and out, equilibrium, fair value gap filmed. We got that last move up, but it ended up not really aligning with what was going on. And I've been able to read higher time frames a lot better. Like in this like last week, I feel like, even though in this last week we haven't been taking like too many trades. This Friday, This is when price action started to get pretty terrible in my opinion. This was another trade. We see that we swept liquidity. Boys, you see the mistake we made. Did price ever come out of this initial order block? Hell no. We ended up losing. Price ended up coming up, sweeping these highs again, creating a new order block. Now check this out. We got this new order block. This last move up. What happened when price came out of it? I don't even know why I put this. I put this entry as the last move on the order block, so I ended up price coming back in, out, heading take profit. But realistically, you could have waited for price to reach. I mean, that order block's really long, so I don't know. That's not the great trade, so that's why I marked out that 1 minute. Ended up losing, ended up winning our forecast. Definitely a great learning day. I remember uploading. I think that's one of the shorts that got a decent amount of views. 10:28. Didn't end up placing a trade this day. Right before market opened. So this was actually a couple days ago. Depending on what determines my bias, if we sweep highs, I am looking for a downward move to fill the gap. If we fill the gap first, then I'm looking for a bullish sweep. Price action has been terrible. QQQ has filled its gap and SPY and ES has not. So the markets have been acting. This was the day that SPY and ES were just not what am I talking about? ES and NQ were not aligned at all with each other. We ended up taking this forecast because of this 5-minute pre-market for value gap. Price ended up coming back in. I just took it straight to the downside to this gap. Ended up playing out. There was actually a move pretty similar to this today that I could go over that I didn't end up taking that I almost did. So it was this morning at this point, I was kind of thinking, yo, price is going to end up coming in and filling this 4-hour fair value gap. Should I just end up taking a short? I never did. Ended up taking a long. I'm actually going to scale down and talk about this trade a little bit more, even though I already uploaded a short about it. Go further in time the next day. We're almost at the end of the month. So 10/29/24. Did not end up taking a trade today. News. We missed an entry this day. I had 2 potential entries, but I never entered because of news. We ended up sweeping this low. We had this order block. Price ended up coming in, out, filled this order block. Should have entered to the upside right here. Never did. You know why? Because we had news, and I'm trying to get better of self-disciplining myself before news. So we missed that move. Never entered. It was a double red folder day. Today was even a triple red folder day, but it was all before market open, and either way. So I was pretty bearish at the start of today because I just wanted to maybe even see if we could retrace back into this. We never ended up retracing back into that until, let's see, because this is today. Let's see if we ever retrace back into it. We did. We ended up retracing back into it, and this is when I would have taken a short, and we could have actually seen how this would have realistically played out with this being the move, price retrace back into it. Could have literally took it to this imbalance. That would have hit. This would have been, for example, if we go to the hourly. Let me show you. This was the trade I was initially trying to catch today. Just go like this. Back to the minute. We had price retrace back into it. At this point, we also would have had this. We would have also been going off reaction short. We would have been targeting this imbalance. Would have ended up playing out. Stop loss probably just right above these highs. Easy. Well, look at that, dude. That would have been a 1 to 3.3. That was the initial trade. So today's price action actually wasn't terrible. It's been respecting a lot of things. I'm going to actually go over fully on the trade why I took what I took today. We had this 4-hour fair value gap. We had price come in, completely fill it. I basically just saw that price came into it, started getting a little bit indecisive. I entered. Not the best. Didn't really wait for much confirmation. Ended up taking the trade. Ended up taking my win. It was a 1 to 2. But other than that, boys, that's about it. That's about this whole month of trading. I'm not planning on trading tomorrow because, I might take a trade tomorrow. I'm just gonna wait till after 8:50, I guess. But I doubt it. Tomorrow's Halloween. Jeez, I didn't even know that, bro, because I'm not even a kid anymore. So, Can't really pay attention to Halloween and stuff no more. Well, I can, but I don't. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned. Um, I actually kind of learned a little bit myself that I should kind of go back and kind of stick to price respecting order blocks a little bit more because I really like the way order blocks play after liquidity sweeps. The only thing is these next like 10 days, we're entering some pretty unfavorable market conditions. Like even if we go into tomorrow, Friday we got NFP. We come in November 4th. This is the day before elections, bro. Market's just going to be doing whatever. We got presidential elections on Tuesday. Obviously, you don't want to be trading. Wednesday, the day after presidential elections, I'm going to be on the charts every single day. I'm going to be looking for entries, probably forecasting a lot of entries, not really making like live back testing, practicing is what I'm going to be doing. Thursday, we have FOMC. So Wednesday, potentially next week, we could be placing some trades. Even Monday before the election, it's not bad, but it's just gonna be chop, bro. Wednesday is gonna be a really impulsive move to one side, so we'll really see. That's gonna determine a lot. Thursday we got FOMC. Friday should be a decent day actually, and then once we get back into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we got CPI, Thursday PPI, and then we got core retail. So that's like another week coming up. But so like the next like couple weeks aren't the most favorable for trading, but I'm still gonna be on the charts looking for entries. Obviously, if something comes up, I'm gonna take it, bro, because I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to make this my like full-time career. So no matter what happens, I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna take you guys through the full process, bro. I do want to start live trading eventually because I know that's gonna be a really helpful way to grow my channel. If you guys are new here, if you guys did watch all the way to the end, bro, just hit that like, subscribe button, bro. Subscribe, like, hit those notifications, bro. We're trying to upload every day. Get it all out. I hope you guys did enjoy though. I will see you guys soon once again. But that's the full month of October. I think I did pretty well, and we're gonna try to make some improvements for the next month. But yeah, so hope you guys did enjoy, and take care.